Coming up in half an hour in our entertaining bill of fare this evening is a concert by Sheelis singing to the accompaniment of their Celtic harps. But now it's time to find out what makes Roy Castle laugh as John Junkin introduces another edition of Junkin's Jokers.
Hello, thanks for being with us again. That's if you are with us. If you're not with us, well, it's your loss, because the guest I have tonight is a gentleman who has been in this business for 42 years and still looks about 19, and I should hate him, but I can't. It's Roy Castle. Roy, welcome.
Oh, thank you. It's just my way of trying to get out of paying the poll tax.
Listen, your choice of what makes you laugh is slightly more interesting than some of the others, because you've got a double background. You've got music and comedy, haven't you?
I've always felt that you hit him with two fists then, you know. If you've got music, you've got one audience there.
Yeah.
And humour, you've got another audience. But if you've got music and humour, you see, like Spike Jones, I mean, that's wonderful stuff, isn't it?
Great stuff, isn't it?
All his stuff is just marvellous. If you're feeling at all depressed, just put out a Spike Jones record and it'll depress you even more.
I think it was Max Wall who said he had a friend who played First Revolver for Spike Jones.
Oh, yeah, great.
The first gent you've chosen for us, we've actually had on before. Richard Murdoch picked him, but he had more of the verbal side of it. You've got more of the musical side of this man, haven't you?
Victor Borger,
Victor Borger, yeah.
Well, he's just majesty, isn't he? He's wonderful stuff. He's such a good player, and his humour is just first class, isn't it?
Yeah, I think this has got the best of both.
I'm going to play a short version of the Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven.
Beautiful.
I'll tell you what I like about it. You don't have to be an expert musician to enjoy his jokes.
No, it's one of those lovely things where everybody's going to laugh at that. You can tour the world with that sort of humour, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, go from the Moonlight Sonata to Night and Day to Happy Birthday. It's beautiful.
Yeah, good man. Great stuff.
As I say, I can understand you picking Borger because of your connections with music, but the comedy side of your life, where did that start?
In a sense, Goons, before the Goon Show,
yeah,
there were some guys that used to really go off at tangents and hang in there, you know. If the audience aren't going with them, they still hang on there. Albert Modley used to make me hysterical.
Lovely.
And again, there was music with him, you see. He used to play the drums and the piano and a bit on the trumpet, you know. He's the first guy that used to get the cymbals going on the top of a drum kit and winding them round like driving a tram, you know. And, aye, we're going to duplicate, you know. Aye, we're going to duplicate today. I used to say to an imaginary kid, stop running outside of me, you're showing me up. You know, all these things. And then he used to play the drums as well.
Yeah, I think he was offbeat long before the term was ever used, wasn't he?
Oh, he was miles out. I once saw him at the Central Pier, Blackpool, and he spent the last 10 minutes of his act trying to find the way off. He said, which is way off? I can't find way off. I came on, I can't find way off again. And he kept asking people, which is way off, missus? You know, it was wonderful.
And they loved it.
Joke there.
Anyway, we did actually find a bit of Albert Modley for you.
Yeah? Oh, great.
I went to Rotherham and I thought, change of air would do me good. I thought, I looked some of my old pals up, I says to a Bobby, by gum, what's this? I thought I were in Venice. It was just before Christmas, they were flooded out. says, where do you want to be? I said, I'd like to go on Sheffield Road. He says, well, lend you a boat. Can you row? I said, me, coming from Morecambe? Of course I can. I get in this boat, I'm rowing along. Suddenly I see a bowler hat going by. I grabbed this. I thought, I'll have this bowler hat. A head popped up. I said, do you mind? Frightened the life out of me. I said, do you want a lift in my boat? He said, no, I'm all right, I'm on the bike.
Great.
I love the way he laughs at his own lines, though he's just thought of them.
Yeah.
In the middle of it.
Yeah, well, he didn't have any of the other things like cigarettes or instruments at that particular stage. He's a lovely fellow. He got this flat cap, of course. Yeah. And a true story, he once came to see me when I was working at Wakefield Theatre Club, and I was so honoured because as a kid I'd watched him. Sure. Suddenly he's in the audience with his lovely wife, Mrs. Tiggy Winkle, you know, and then in the dressing room afterwards, it was marvellous because there was all the Sheffield Wednesday football team as well, right? So there's Albert and his wife sitting in the corner quietly, like waiting to go to the dentist, you know, and all these footballers come in and he's shaking hands with them. Oh, do lad, hey, by gum, I've seen thee play. Hi, great. He's shaking hands with everybody. He said, I've just shook hands with all Sheffield Wednesday Football Club. And then he looked at his wife in the corner and he said, are you glad you married me now? lovely, crazy mind.
But, and no, in no fear, just going where no man had gone before. Your next fellow went even further than that, actually. I think he's a legend, isn't he?
Oh, Frank Randall. Well, he was the Freddie Starr of that time.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, he's a law unto himself. And he was filling theatres, so people had to really kowtow to his whims and fancies. He used to disappear, you know, on occasions on his boat. And we worked with him for 2 years. Absolute madman he was. And I remember once we were up at Barrow-in-Furness, and there was a big charity going on in the town at the town hall. And it was some doctors, and it was for the NSPCC. A good cause, right? Mm-hmm. But we were doing twice nightly, and they came and said, would we go along afterwards and do him a bit of a cabaret, you see, for charity? So they caught him in his big uncle mood. You know, they were lucky because it's like 1 in 28. And he said, aye, by golly, we'll come along and give you a show, right? And we're all saying, oh, come on, we're going to miss our suppers and everything. Aye, there'll be some food. I'll make sure there's some food for you all, right? And then he said, anyway, if anything is untoward, I shall blow this whistle, and you'll all form a line behind me, and we shall come home, right? So he goes in there. We all traipse along. There's the Ben Abdraham and Wazan acrobats. You know, they're getting all this. There's me and Norman Teal, who played the xylophone. We do our musical bit. And then Frank Randall goes on, and it's one of those microphones with the springs on each corner. And when you put it down, it goes... And when you speak through it, you... So halfway through, he was doing a gag, and one of these doctor chaps said, speak up, we can't hear you. See, he filled up like a glass of port. You know, by golly, if you can't hear me, you'll watch. And he did the sewing the button on, and then he stamped away. He said, where's this food? Right? So we all had to go into the mayor's parlour. But what they'd done is they covered the whole floor with newspapers, right? Actors, you see.
Just dirty people, yes.
And there was a trestle table down the middle, and there was one big tea urn, and then there was all the cups around it, and then there was these little bent sandwiches, and there was one plate of soggy sausage rolls, right? So we all said, there you are, we've missed our proper meal at the digs, and look at this, you see. So he called the big man, and the mayor and everybody came, and he said, we call this for my artists. He said, I should imagine this must have cost you £2. So he put £2 notes on the table, and then he took this plateful of warm, greasy sausage rolls, and all the way around the mayor's parlour there was paintings, original paintings of the past mayors, right? So he got one sausage roll and slung it straight at one mayor, hit him right in the face, and started just slithering down, you know. And then he went to the next one, bang! And he said, by golly, I'm in fine fettle tonight. And he threw all these sausage rolls, and everybody's going mad. And then suddenly he remembered, and he blew his whistle, and we all had to get in line behind him. And we marched down this spiral staircase about 3 flights. The mayor is running behind him saying, "We'll get you some better food, Mr. Randall." He says, too late, come on everybody, too late. And we just marched off and peeled off to our digs in Barrow-in-Furness in the middle of the night. Complete madman.
I knew he was a madman. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we've got a bit of him here. I don't think it'll match up to that story, but let's have a listen.
That just reminds me. I once sent a bottle of beer away like this to be analysed. They must have got mixed up until the end. They sent me a postcard saying, "Dear sir, your horse is in perfect condition." I can rattle my dogs about a bit yet, you know. But it's only my bit of fun. Don't take any notice of me, I'm just an old fool, that's all. Look at me, 82, I can jump a 5-bar gate. Aye, if it was laid on floor, it's only till the day I went to a funeral. I was coming away from graveside. A chap looked at me, he says, "How old are you?" I said, "I'm 82. Aye, he said, "I don't think it's much use thee going home at all."
A lot of those jokes, he was first in, you know, he was first in with the one about the dog that's supposed to have bitten him, and the fella said, "That can't bite thee, it's got no teeth." He said, "Aye, well, it give me a nasty suck." You know, he was first in with that one.
They've all had a lot of mileage since, haven't they?
Yeah. And he's another one that I saw when I was a little lad. We went to Blackpool on our holidays, and I was just a kid, and we went to the South Pier to see Frank Randall. And I was in hysterics, and on my own, you know, and a little unbroken voice was laughing away all by itself. And Frank Randall spoke to me on that occasion. He just said, "Who let that kid in?"
He was all charm, wasn't he? You came up at the best of variety, didn't you, really? Almost towards the end, but it was still pretty healthy.
Yes, it was just before television really took hold.
Was there anybody else coming up at the same time as you?
Oh, yeah, I came up with Eric and Ernie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were great mates. And bottom of the bills together. We were at Coventry once when Arthur Askew was top of the bill, and then Yana was second top, and then Morecambe and Wise, and then me a long way down there, under the Dallas Boys and things like that. and we'd been great mates. It's marvellous. I mean, Eric used to come out. You can tell a real comedian because he's coming out with them all the time. We once went to see the premiere of That's Entertainment 2, and it was a big scene at the Dorchester, and there was Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly, and Donald O'Connor. All the greats were there, and I was invited with my wife, but we were way at the back, you know. And eventually Eric came over to our table, and he said, "What are you sitting back here for?" You see. So he said, "Well, this is our table." He said, "Oh," he said, "come and sit with us." I said, No, we don't want to push in." He says, No. He said, "Sid Charisse is supposed to be sitting with us, and he hasn't turned up."
Again, we've got the best of both. We've got Eric and Ernie and music.
Will you miss me tonight when I'm gone? Will your love be the same from now? Just a moment,
What are you
boys.
doing?
Eh?
What are you doing?
Well, I found something out.
What?
I don't need you. You're not an asset anymore to me. I'm going to do it all by myself, sing by myself. I'm going to be a star, I am.
But you're not doing it right.
Aren't I?
No, you can't be a star on your own.
Oh.
You're going to have backing.
Yeah?
Sure. Now, I'm a group.
No.
Yeah.
All by yourself?
No. There's 2 other fellas as well.
Who are they?
Well, there's Dick, Sid, and me.
Oh.
Now, Dick, he's a boomer. Give him a boom, Dick.
Boom. That was good. That's very good.
Now, Sid, he's an ooher.
Yeah.
Sid, give him a ooher. And me,
That was good, that. Oh, it's good, that.
and me, I'm a yatta-tatara.
Oh, this is great. This is all good to me, yes? Great.
Let's take it from the top, fellas. Here we go. 1, 2.
Boom.
Yatta-ta-ta.
Boom.
Yatta-ta-ta.
And I'm in front singing.
Boom. Yatta-ta-ta.
Boom.
Yatta-ta-ta.
And you're at the... Oh, that is great. I'm all for it.
Okay, here we go, fellas. 1, 2.
Boom. Yatta-ta-ta. Boom.
Will
Yatta-ta-ta.
you miss me
Yatta-ta-ta.
tonight when
Yatta-ta-ta.
I'm gone?
Yatta-ta-ta. Boom. Yatta-ta-ta.
Love me the
Yatta-ta-ta.
same
from now on.
No, wait a minute. Hold it, boys.
Will
No,
you-
what's happening is, hold it, lads. What's happening is I'm yatta-tataring. You see? I'm yatta-tataring when I should be singing, Will you meet me tonight? You see that one? I'm yatta-tataring instead of Miss Me Tonighting.
All right, let Sid start it. Sid, will you give us the 1-2?
Yes.
Does he talk like that?
Yeah.
He's got a lovely wife as well.
Okay, Sid.
A 1, 2.
Boom.
Yatta-ta-ta.
Boom.
Yatta-ta-ta.
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 I'm gone.
Yatta-ta-ta. Yatta-ta-ta. Yatta-ta-ta.
No,
Yatta-ta-ta.
just hold it, boys. You see, what's happening... Dick, he's away, Dick. You see, what's happening is I'm booing now. I've yatta-tata'd, ooed. I've only got a boom to go.
Perhaps Sid shouldn't have started it.
Well, I didn't want to say anything when you suggested that, but he has got a lovely wife.
Would you like to start it?
Well, if you insist.
All right.
If it'll make it any easier for you. Yes. Now, this is what happens, boys. It's boom, ooh, yatta-ta-ta. 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 Boom, ooh, yatta-ta-ta.
Love me the same from now on.
No, wait a minute. Hold it, boy. No,
Will you
Sid, boys, but have you got no control over them? You see, what's happening now is I'm doing all three. I'm going boom, ooh, and yatta-ta-ta. There's nothing left.
Fellas, I think we'll cut out the boomoo yatta-ta-ta.
Well, what's going to happen to me then?
Well, you can take off that ridiculous leather suit and go.
Oh, well, can I keep me black leather underwear on?
I don't care. Ready, fellas? Will you miss me tonight when I'm gone?
It's tough at the top, isn't it?
Poor Eric. Lovely.
He always used to say, it's tough at the top and it's tough at the bottom, but it's tougher at the bottom.
A lot of truth in that.
No. Lovely.
Roy, we've done, apart from Borger, very, very English comics. Albert, Modley, Frank, Eric and Ernie.
Yes.
The American comics appeal to you as well, though.
Oh, yes. I love a lot of that American humour. I really, I was out there quite a bit doing some American shows, and I'm a great fan of people who really go for it, you know what I mean?
Jack Benny?
Well, Jack Benny's fantastic, you see. That the pauses that he gets, nobody dare do that. There's an awful lot of people over here, if there's any kind of a pause and quiet, you start going, whoa, wow, oh dear, I'm dying, you know.
But that was their training in vaudeville, wasn't it? They did that to them. They had no fear of anything.
Oh, it was great stuff.
But the next comic you've got, again, although he was, I think, too young for variety, has got the same kind of repose. But he was the first one, I think you made the point, who was actually antagonistic to actually attacked the audience.
Yeah, he was abrasive, very abrasive. Yeah. Alan King. I think that one of the greatest and most courageous lines ever, which made it very funny, because we know the tightrope, don't we?
Yes.
When you think of a funny line and you think, but are they going to think it's funny? Yeah. And it was at the Dominion, and it was the Judy Garland show.
First time he came to this country.
Yeah, and it was his first time. Nobody knew Alan King, and he was closing the first half with 40 minutes, right? And so all he got was an offstage announcement, which was, ladies and gentlemen from America, Alan King, right? And there was this,
Yes.
like the close of Laughing. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. And, I mean, he's halfway to the microphone, and the applause has stopped. And the Dominion's a long stage.
Yes.
And so he had to walk on, and he got to the microphone, and he didn't blow anything at all. He didn't get hysterical. He took a nice long drag on his cigar, looked around at everybody and said, I'm not too keen on you either.
And that's make or break time,
That's daring, because you've got 40 minutes to go from here.
They're either with you or you're never going to get them. Here's a bit of Alan.
Yes, we bought the house for $37,000. It was listed to sell for $12,500, but we wanted extras. We needed little things like windows, a wall, a floor. And now my wife is happy. We now own our own home. We've become land barons. She's flipped a wig. We have the only ranch house with a drawbridge and a moat. Can you imagine saving all your money, all your life, so you can become your own janitor? The only time my wife talks to me now is, Alan, take out the garbage. Take out the garbage. I just sat down. It's like an electric eye. The minute I sit down, she could be 3 blocks away. Alan, take out the garbage. I said, we didn't eat. Where's the garbage coming from? My wife collects the garbage from the neighbors, just so I should take it out for her. I think she buys instant garbage. You add a little water, you got all the garbage you need.
I love the idea of instant garbage.
Yes, I know.
I did, listening to him, Roy, it's funny, there's a kind of connection with Albert Modley, because it's the feeling that this is a genuine emotional thing that's happening. It's not an act at all, is it?
No.
It's just coming out of them. It's so clever to do that, I think.
Great stuff. There's another lovely comic out there, but I don't think there's any material on him, is Joey Bishop.
Oh, Joey Bishop.
Brilliant stuff. Again, very laid back. And he once had the classic line. Apparently he was working in Las Vegas, and it was in the heyday of Marilyn Monroe, and he was halfway through a gag, and Marilyn Monroe, an entourage with the big white mink and everything, turns up, and all the spotlights immediately hit this great party, and there was a standing ovation for 5 minutes, and Joey Bishop is stood now at the microphone, and nobody's looking at him at all. They're all applauding Marilyn, and then there's all the fuss and bother goes on where they get seated, and then it all gradually dies down, and the spotlight came back to Joey Bishop. Now, how are you going to pick it up from there? And do you know what he said?
No.
I thought I told you to stay in the truck. That's daring, isn't it?
Again, that's like the Alan King line. You've either won them completely or lost them
I know,
completely.
it's gone forever. Yeah.
You're talking about laid back. Yeah, this next chap that you've chosen is very laid back. We see him now on the television in the sitcom series, but this is going back, I don't know, 15, 20 years when he used to do this stand-up material.
I've always been such a fan of Bill Cosby because it's so real, and yet he picks on things that are there all the time and you haven't noticed.
No.
He's got such a lovely mind. I think he's marvellous.
You know what, but dogs are better than cats. Cats are not cool at all. You know, a cat is very independent. He's just sucking in on your food. Now, answer this question. Did a cat ever do anything for you? Huh? Did a cat? No. Cats don't do anything. Huh? They could kill mice any place. He don't have to be in your house. If he's hungry, you watch him. He got a shopping bag. He's going around looking for mice. A cat has never done anything for anybody except sit on your sofa and make you sneeze. Cats, they sit there. No, that's the truth. You watch. I'm telling you. A cat will just sit on your sofa and he's just... You can't say to a cat, come here, Fido. If you do, the cat will say, what? See, I said, come here. You're not talking to me. I was just sitting here on the sofa, man. I'm watching television right now. Got any more catnip? You haven't been catching any mice lately? No, man, because I'm full. Can't eat them all up in one day, you know. And besides, some of them haven't bathed yet. Yeah, that's why they call them cats, man. Now, a dog is beautiful, you know. What can I do for you? Want your slippers? Wrong slippers. Oh, I'll get the other one. Here's your newspaper. It's not mine. You chewed it all up. Can't help. I got sharp teeth. You know, dogs always trying, man, but a cat, the only time you ever see a cat, and I gotta be frank with you, is when it's time to eat, and he's rubbing all around your leg, putting that fur all around there so you can start sneezing, your eyes swell up.
And you swear he's making it up as he goes along.
I know. Again, if you wrote that down, a lot of comics would turn it away, wouldn't they?
Oh, they'd throw it out.
Yeah.
Throw it out completely. We're nearly out of time, Roy. There's one gentleman who you haven't mentioned, and I know you've been restraining yourself because we have had him on the show before, who was a very formative part of your comedy life.
Oh, Jimmy James.
Yeah.
The governor. Yes, fantastic. And Eli, marvellous chap. He had a great sense of humour too. I've just got to tell you one quick story about Eli, because not many people have talked about Eli. And there was this show when and we were following. It wasn't actually a comic, but it was like a juggling sort of act, and he kept coming off before us saying what a lousy audience they are. You know, every time, twice nightly, they're a lousy audience out, lousy audience. We were just waiting to go on, and on the Friday night, Eli stopped him and he said, "Hang on a minute." He said, "I don't think it's fair to judge an audience on the act you're doing."
He wasn't.
I know.
Oh dear. One day when we've got 14 hours to spare, we must come in a studio and you must retell me all the Jimmy James stories that you've told me over the years, because they are classic. Now, we're going back to music to finish, but again, it's music and comedy combined, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Jonathan Edwards, yes. This is a lovely piece. It's called Deer Fingers. And I played this to an agent, funnily enough, a chap who would tell you whether you're any good or not. Mm-hmm. And at the end of this, he stayed serious, didn't giggle at all, and at the end of it he said, "Yes, very nice."
I agree with the agent. That was very nice.
Very, very nice. Yeah.
That was the piano magic of Jonathan Edwards.
That's it.
Yes. Actually, Paul Weston, because we had Jonathan and Darlene
That's
on
right.
Bob Monkhouse's programme.
Yeah.
And
on the cover, there are two left hands.
the two
playing
left
piano,
hands.
yeah.
I looked at it for 5 minutes before I realised it was two left hands.
Yeah.
That's the terrible thing about
Yeah.
that one. What a great one to finish on. Roy, thanks a million for coming in.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It really, I just must apologise to all the people we've had to leave out.
Yeah, well, that's going to be the case, I'm afraid,
I
because
know.
there are so many. But we've had a good selection there, and I do thank you for it very much indeed. We'll be back again next week with another choice. Thanks very much for all the mail you sent in so far. If you'd still like to send in your top 10, we'd be delighted to receive it. We being me, John Junkin, and my producer, Jörn Magnuson. We'll see you next week.
Send in your own list of jokers. The address to write to is Junkin's Jokers, BBC Broadcasting House, London, W1A 4WW. Next week, John Junkin will be talking to Alan Corran about what makes him laugh.